Hi there. I do a lot of this stuff at the local and, sort of in the governmental sector and some other ways. We've been a non-union construction company since our founding in 1947, and quite vehemently so. And in fact, we kind of put the Carpenters Union and all the other people in this neck of the woods pretty much out of business. I think it's important to consider how you think about unions. I mean, number one, we used to be, I love this analogy, we used to be dealing with Luca Brasi, if you know who that is. Now it's Michael Corleone, the Harvard-trained attorney with a pen. Which one is actually more dangerous to you? It's a lot harder to keep track of these guys now than the old guys with the baseball bats that used to blow things up and shoot at, we still keep some bullet holes in the office, but got to understand their business. All right, that's the way to approach them. They're a business. They're interested in increasing sales, as was mentioned before. They only can do that through government fiat. It's only possible, really, for them to grow as long as they stack the deck as clearly as possible for themselves, either directly through something idiotic like card check, or project labor agreements that create monopolies. It's literally the only way you can force people to pay for something that they normally wouldn't pay for, and frankly, they'd be much better off if they didn't have to pay for it to begin with. But let's talk a little bit about tactics and things. Our side gets caught up in academia versus advocacy. That's kind of the clearest way to think about it. Advocates begin with the conclusion, then build the evidence to make the case. That's what they do. They make lots of little 501c3s. You'll see a little blurb in a newspaper. And surprise, surprise, 3 apparently separate groups just discovered the same conclusion that requires the need for this law that has to be put into effect. Our side tends towards academia, where we let a conclusion naturally arise out of the data as it's culled. That's nice in academia. It's not nice in politics. It's stupid, frankly. If you're going to do these kinds of things, you have to be prepared to fight a proper fight, which means you win, they lose. Compromise is something you can consider after the fact, because part of what they're also into doing is not just increasing membership. They're constantly trying to codify the terms and conditions of their contracts in law. Now, if you were a contractor like me who negotiates contracts for a living with my customers, once something's in law, it's immaterial what's basically said on the page. That's now the base. That's the baseline. So sick and safe days that people have heard about and things like that. Well, that came straight out of the SEIU standard contract. So now what the SEIU can do is, oh, see, this is the law in the District of Columbia, for example. We need to raise it, actually, for our members, things like that. That's part of their operating procedure. The grand underbelly for organized labor is starting to come to light to people, and that's their pensions. This is an antiquated system that is literally impossible to maintain. In some states, like Illinois, for example, of the 5 state pension funds, 3 out of the 5 are being operated as Ponzi schemes as we speak. Literally, that means they are paying for the benefits of people with current contributions. The state Supreme Court, not Supreme Court, one of the state court justices who sits on that oversight panel had to quit the other day because he believed he was operating criminally and can't do so as an officer of the court. This problem is grand. It's going to get worse. It's something they don't want to engage in. Thankfully, when they do engage in it, they'll engage very foolishly, by and large. Because they will react to any change in pension law the same way the NRA was going to react to any change in gun law, or NARAL people would react to any change in abortion law. It's true, though, that any change in the law is, in fact, a slippery slope. They're actually right. But you can take full advantage of the fact that they're going to act like morons about it, like the Gage guy the other day who said, something about, the people must be mentally retarded. It's insane. You'll see this over and over again. Luckily, we have sort of that. Well, one last thing. Even if you are lucky enough to live in a right-to-work state, secure your area. There isn't a reason in the world why you don't have executive orders banning project labor agreements, why you don't codify right to work, make it stronger. Because they are a business. They're always looking for new turf in which to sell more product. And it's a great headline for a union in North Carolina to add 50 union members, which, you know, the headline's going to say there's a 10% increase in union membership in North Carolina. Okay? I mean, they're looking for things like that always because it adds to their hem. And frankly, most of their people are commissioned salespeople anyway. So it's just approach it like the business that it is. And then you can avoid all the advertising and the political nonsense of all their sloganeering and all that crap because they don't believe it. It's nonsense. But you can walk right past it if you approach it as if it's a business and then figure out ways to undercut it. And there's a lot of creative ways. Thank you.